Welcome to the Deep Dive. We take your source materials, find the most fascinating bits, and we'll give you a shortcut to being really clued in. Today, we're uncorking something interesting, diving deep into the world of wine, but specifically this brand, Malanos. We're going to look at how they sell it, the story behind it, and, what makes it stand out in what's usually a very traditional field.
Exactly. And our sources today are pretty comprehensive. We've got everything from, internal quizzes about their philosophy right through to detailed marketing briefs. It's basically the playbook, isn't it? How they're building this brand in a tough market.
Yeah, it really lays it out. So our mission for you listening is to unpack how Malanos uses its unique identity, this young winemaker, their different approach to connect with, modern drinkers and the people who sell the wine. The idea is you'll get the mix of art, science, and just smart strategy that makes a brand like this work.
Mm-hmm. We'll dig into the why, why they make these choices, connecting that winemaking philosophy they have to how they're doing in the market and showing really how they manage to stand out from the crowd.
Okay, let's get into it then. The first thing, and it jumps right out from the sources, is this central figure, a young, brilliant winemaker. Now, in an industry that loves heritage, long family histories, why make youth such a big part of the Malanos story? What's the thinking there?
Well, what's really interesting is how they lean into that. They call it rising star appeal. This winemaker, they don't even name them in these sources, but they're positioned as revolutionizing the art of winemaking.
Revolutionizing? How?
Wine mixing, it says, traditional techniques with innovative approaches. It creates this compelling, authentic narrative. It catches your eye because it is different.
Right, so it's not just about the wine in the bottle, it's the person, the fresh take. The sources do say they've earned significant recognition for meticulous attention to detail and unwavering commitment to quality.
Precisely. And that quality part is key. In an industry steeped in tradition, like you said, this new energy combined with that focus on quality, that's a really powerful mix. It appeals to a market that seems hungry for authentic stories.
Yeah.
And also that kind of excitement of finding the next big thing in wine. It makes the brand feel human, relatable, intriguing.
Okay, interesting. Now, beyond the winemaker, there's this core philosophy, vine veneration. That sounds, almost religious. What does that actually mean in practice? How does it shape the wine itself?
Yeah, it's a great question, isn't it? How does a philosophy end up in the bottle? Vine veneration, according to the material, means treating each grape as a precious gift from the earth.
Okay.
And that thinking, that respect, it leads directly to their minimal intervention approach in the winery.
Right, minimal intervention. We hear that term a bit. What's the goal there? What are they trying to achieve by, intervening less?
The goal really is to let the terroir speak through every bottle. The terroir, the soil, the climate, that specific place.
Let the place show itself.
Exactly. Letting the natural characteristics of the grapes and the unique environment come through fully. The aim is wines of remarkable depth and character, and, importantly for them and their partners, consistent high-quality results.
So it's about quality, but also authenticity. They frame it as both, it seems.
Yes, it's definitely positioned that way.
Yeah.
A commitment to quality that also happens to be a smart marketing angle, because it guarantees that authentic expression of place.
Okay, so we've got this fascinating winemaker, this unique vine veneration philosophy. How does Malanos take all that and actually connect with today's wine drinkers? The sources mention conscious consumers, millennials, Gen Z.
Well, if you look at the bigger picture, Malanos seems to be tapping directly into what the market wants right now, which is often authenticity and stories, maybe even more than just taste sometimes.
Right.
Consumers, especially those younger groups you mentioned, they seem to be actively seeking wines with compelling stories and sustainable practices. It's not just about the drink.
So that focus on sustainable vineyard practices we saw mentioned, and the whole authentic narrative around the young winemaker, that's not just values, it's strategy.
Absolutely. It seems very strategic.
Yeah.
Malanos uses these trends by offering wines described as handcrafted in small batches for exclusivity that hits the specialness factor.
Yeah.
And that also aligned with ethical buying.
Okay.
It's about providing, a whole experience, a connection to where the wine comes from, the philosophy behind it, not just a beverage. And that helps them stand out, differentiate themselves in a market that's, let's face it, often saturated with established brands.
Makes sense. It's clear they've got a strong angle for consumers. But like you said, the sources are also really focused on the business side, the distributors, the sommeliers. They talk about a challenge Malanos solves for these partners. What is that main challenge?
Yeah, the core challenge they identify for, say, a wine buyer is meeting distinctive, high-quality wines with compelling stories to differentiate their portfolios.
Right, standing out.
In an increasingly competitive market, Malanos basically walks in and says, we're the solution to that problem.
Okay, so what are the immediate wins for these partners? What do they get right away?
The immediate benefits listed are pretty clear. Access to limited production, high-quality wines, which is always appealing, and crucially, that compelling marketing story that drives customer interest.
The story, again, helps them sell it.
Exactly. They also mention competitive pricing for premium quality and strong profit margins. Practical stuff.
And looking down the road, what's the long-term value pitch for these partners? Why stick with Malanos?
That's where it gets really interesting strategically. The long-term value is framed as a partnership. They talk about partnership with a rising star in the wine industry, the potential for a significant brand value appreciation.
So getting in early.
Getting in early, yeah. Even gaining a first-mover advantage in representing emerging talent. It's consistently presented as an investment in the future of winemaking.
And they back that up.
Well, the sources claim it's backed by strong performance in initial market tests and positive reception from wine critics and industry professionals. So they're saying, look, it's not just potential, there's early proof here.
Wow. Okay, that was a really illuminating look at Malanos. It's pretty fascinating how they weave everything together, the winemaker's story, that vine veneration idea, and a really sharp sense of what the market wants. They've built something quite compelling, especially, like we said, in such a traditional industry.
It really does. It just underscores how vital that storytelling piece is, isn't it?
Yeah.
And authenticity, or at least the perception of authenticity, plus being smart enough to adapt to what consumers actually value now.
Yeah.
It's not just about shifting product. It's building a brand they clearly think has huge growth potential.
So for you listening, maybe the takeaway is this. Next time you're looking at a bottle of wine, or really any product, think beyond just what it is. What's the story it's trying to tell you? How much of why you might choose it comes down to the philosophy or the people behind it, or how it maybe clicks with your own values.
Yeah, it raises a really interesting question, doesn't it? If Malanos can build so much appeal through its narrative and its vision, how much of what we value in anything we buy is actually about the thing itself versus the story wrapped around it, and maybe the future it seems to represent?
Definitely food for thought. We hope this deep dive into Malanos has maybe given you a fresh angle on how brands are built, both the art and the business of it, and maybe spark some curiosity about the stories behind other things you come across. Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring.